Hello, hello, hello. Top of the morning, evening, afternoon, and good night to one and all. Today we're going to be talking about something very, very interesting, man. And I'm actually pretty pumped up to go over it, just making sure my camera's good to go. Yeah, this has been all over the news, man. Like across the board. And what it is there is a clip, right, of Jimmy Kimmel. He was canceled. Essentially, the reason why he was canceled is because of something he said. Now, I'm going to show you this clip of what he said, and then we're going to go over the news that followed after that. I feel like this is crazy. Let's jump into this first. This is the clip. Now, very difficult to find this because apparently this was pulled off the air. Now, a lot of the other news channels talk about the clip, but they don't actually show the clip. So this was hard, and I found this on the Guardian's YouTube. So this is the actual footage. This is it.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
Okay, that what you just heard is the negative thing that was pulled off the air. One more time, because I'm okay. Let's just maybe I just don't hear it. Let me listen to it again.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points.
Okay, I want to talk about that first part right here. I don't know about the MAGA gang, right? I don't know about that. But I will say that most Republicans are. Yes, that is. I talked about this on Sunday outside of society. It seems like everybody wants to point the finger saying, oh, well, they're with this side. They're with that side. They're trying to turn it into a left versus right thing, right? Oh, he's got a transgender girlfriend. I don't know. You're moving away from the point that Charlie Kirk is dead, right? He was assassinated. You're moving away from that. You're now trying to figure out what exactly is happening, and I'm not really going to comment on that because I don't feel like that is. I think what is important, and we have to remember Charlie Kirk for what he was, right? I don't think that any of this left-right shit matters. Sorry for cursing, but apparently Jimmy Kimmel was pulled from the show was pulled. Okay, then he went ahead and uploaded on his channel, essentially his response to it, whatever. And I don't think it's actually been canceled. It's been pulled. Like that, it's re-empted, or what was the word that they used? I think re-empted, where it's not canceled yet. It's just on hold. And of course, everybody loves this, right? Including Trump. Now, I already know where this is going to go. And someone's going to say, Jay, you're a leftist. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I am, for anybody that's just tuning in, I am a center guy. I am down the line center. I'm going to look left. I'm going to look right. Figure out which side is the most morally, ethically decision, and then go with that one. Sometimes I, could be swayed either way. There are certain things that I believe that the left doesn't. There are certain things that I believe that the right doesn't. So, that being said, I want to talk about this because this is important. You pulling Jimmy Kimmel, first off, I've tried to find a comedian. I would not consider Jimmy Kimmel a comedian. I don't think he's funny. I don't, at least for me, he's not a funny comic. I don't think he's a good comedian. It is what it is. But that doesn't mean that you cancel what he says, right? If you don't like what he has to say, then you shut it off, right? You shut it down. What I've heard from the past 10 years of being online and people making fun of me for whatever reasons is cancel culture. You hear a lot about this. You've heard comics talk about cancel culture, being scared to say things because of cancel culture. And then the Republican side, the right-wing side, is always quick to say cancel culture. They want to cancel someone on the right. Cancel someone on the right. But now the roles have changed. So now we're canceling back. And what's going to be the argument from anybody that watches this channel that's on the right side is what is the argument why we cancel them? Because they're doing it too? I thought we have to lead by example. Because now you're canceling him, and it's not just going to stop there, right? This train is going to keep moving because what's happening is, let me pull this article up for you. ABC pulls Jimmy Kimmel show off the air indefinitely indefinitely. I take that back. That is not the word I read yesterday. This was 2 days ago, obviously, okay? You heard the clip, though. There's much more to it than that. It's a 13-minute clip. I am not going to play the whole thing. ABC on Wednesday pulled Jimmy Kimmel live off the air indefinitely over its host's controversial comments linking the alleged killer of conservative activist Charlie Kirk to President... This is why I don't like the news. I swear I could play that back again. I did not get that. Over the host's controversial comments linking, the alleged killer of conservative activist Charlie Kirk to President Donald Trump's MAGA. Linking. Ooh, that's okay. Well, it's not wrong, right? Wow, that is a far stretch. Okay, all right, that's fair. Trump praised the move, which came hours after the FCC, that's a Federal Trade Commission. That's not federal, that's FTC. FCC are the people that comms, TV, radio, whatever. Chair Brendan Cart suggests that ABC's broadcast license was at risk because of Kimmel's remarks. I challenge you, real quick, I challenge anybody to find anything when George Floyd died. Find me a comedian that made a joke about George Floyd on TV. Not a special, right? Show me a joke about George Floyd, because I've listened to this on the left side, right? They didn't have a problem when they were doing the George Floyd thing. That was just regular YouTubers, right? That wasn't a national on TV thing. And I really didn't see a whole lot of YouTubers talk negatively towards George. I'm sure they felt that way. I'm sure they had negative things to say. I just don't see it in this context. And I've tried to find a comedian that said something negative about George Floyd, because the way I remember it is you couldn't say anything negative. Like, even Twitch would take you down, YouTube would take you down. That is not that bad, right? What he just said, because I've said that. I think it's crazy that everybody's trying to point a finger. He's on this side, he's on that side. Anyway, let's move on. Nexstar is seeking FCC approval for its planned whatever. Okay, this is just... Okay, I don't know what this told. The population has not been fired. The show host has not been fired. Disney brass plans to speak with Kimmel about what he should say when he goes back on the air. So, wait a minute. So look. Pulls the show off air indefinitely. And then when we scroll down here about what he should say when he goes back on the air. Okay, maybe I just don't know what the word indefinitely means, because that's not indefinitely. That means that you're gonna go back on the air. Okay. In his opening monologue, Kimmel suggested that Tyler Robinson, who was charged with fatally shooting Kurt September 10th while the activist spoke, was aligned with Trump's "Make America Great Again" movement. Man, that is. I gotta listen to this again. I'm sorry. I don't understand how you're getting that from his comment. Let me just listen.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them, and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
Okay. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, whatever. I don't hear it. The MAGA gang desperately it says it right here. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. Carr, who Trump or not, FCC, of course, because it's FCC. Now, this is a story, right? This is a story. You want to hear something crazier than this? Check this out. Trump applauds Jimmy Kimmel's suspension and seeks to punish critical broadcasters. Los Angeles, September 8th. U.S. President Donald Trump on Thursday celebrated the suspension of the talk show host, Jimmy Kimmel. I thought we were against cancel culture. I thought everybody on the right side is against cancel culture, including Trump. Well, I guess not. From the airwaves, it said TV broadcasters should lose their license over negative coverage of his administration. Let me stop. Okay. What? TV broadcasters should lose their licenses over negative coverage of his administration. Do you know, one of the big things about YouTube and a lot of these platforms is you can say whatever you want. Like, that's one of the exceptions. I can't make a video making fun of Melissa down the street, but I sure as in hell can make a video making fun of Trump, making fun of Biden. Absolutely I can. It's like, for some reason, as long as politics has been in on the TVs, you could always satire. I mean, Saturday Night Live, you can always make fun of presidents. So now you're saying that, wait a minute, you can't do that. You can't, don't say anything negative. I don't want you to say anything negative about the administration. So you want to censor, you know what that's called, right? It's called censorship. So you want to censor the media now. You want to censor the news. Is there any other amendments you want to take away while we're there? You know, maybe you could probably get rid of the Third Amendment, right? That's it's like the most useless. I don't think that's ever been tried in court. Who knows what the Third Amendment is? But like, what are we doing? We're just making it up as we go. Like, hey, listen, I don't like this. Stop that. If you don't stop that, I'm gonna shut you down. Okay. Kimmel has been embroiled in the effort by Trump and his supporters to punish critics of assassinating right wing who was shot while speaking. Okay, we know that whole story. Walt Disney owned, I didn't know that Walt Disney owned ABC. I guess they owned Peacock, same thing, right? Said Wednesday it was yanking the late night comedy show indefinitely following conservative uproar over his Monday monologue. Why are conservatives watching Jimmy Kimmel to begin with? Writers, performers, former U.S. President Barack Obama, and others condemned Kimmel's suspension, calling it a capitulation to unconstitutional government pressure. I agree. This is where I agree with the left. If you don't like what he has to say, right? Me and Bree disagree with this. I think she thinks that, well, not with this situation, with somebody else, but I do not think that you need to be canceling somebody because you don't agree with what they say. I don't care if it's on national TV. I think you are entitled. I don't think news should be giving their opinions, but this isn't news. This is a talk show host. Jay Leno, if you will. Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel. These are talk show hosts. Johnny Carson. Say what you want to say. Larry King, you go. It's your show. After about 150 demonstrators gathered on Thursday, 150. Wow, you guys rolled deep. 150? Okay, so basically a crowded 7-Eleven. About 150 demonstrators gathered on Thursday outside the Hollywood studio where Jimmy Kimmel Live is recorded to protest the show's suspension. Some raised signs saying "Don't bend the knee to Trump," "Racist," "Resist fascism," and "Douse the mouse." On a late night television show, Colbert kicked off The Late Show. Isn't he that guy that he's also far left too? Jimmy, I stand with all of your staff 100%, Colbert said. In July, it was canceling Colbert shows, what he called the business of, but critics saw a move to please Trump. On Comedy Central, Jon Stewart was introduced as a patriotic, obediently host. Yeah, see, this is the problem. This is it. Now, during his visit to Britain, Trump called Kimmel untalented and denounced him for saying a horrible thing about a great gentleman known as Charlie Kirk. Kimmel, a comedian who frequently lampoons Trump, said during his opening monologue on Monday that allies of Kirk were using his... Okay, we got that. I think it's a different article. He also poked fun at the Trump. Turned a question about his personal money with Kirk into promoting for his White House ballroom. This is now an adult grieves murder of someone he called a friend. This is how... Yeah, he looks like a... I'm trying to be somewhat PG. I don't like the way he looks. Like he has a face I just want to punch. I just don't like him. I don't know. I don't like him. Throughout both his terms, Trump has threatened to rescind licenses for local broadcast affiliates of the national networks, licenses that are approved by the FCC Commission, a nominally independent regulatory body. Kimmel suspension after the FCC. Okay, yep. All right, there's a video. Let's pull up this video. Stand by 1 second. Let me pull up the video about Trump saying this. It's going to be a little bit difficult.
Well, I hope you had a good time, everybody. We had I think it was a really good day and a half. But they treated us great. They treated our country.
Haven't had any discussions about plans or how to make it happen?
No, I haven't.
Mr. President, you mentioned in your remarks at the press conference something about backroom and bringing it back to the U.S.
I'd like to the world in terms of...
Mr. President, regarding Antifa, them terrorist organization.
They said things that were very...
Hold on a second. Are they in the air right now? Like, are you flying right this second? Like, right now, are you in the air? If so, do they have like a little air? Like, did they just get to travel? Like, you just get free tickets? For some reason, that's fascinating to me. You just get to. Okay, that's nice.
And it was a
And
question
they just wait to when we can talk to Trump. That's nice.
of when you take a look at the way they acted, the way they behaved. Yeah, I think they were a threat.
Priorities with Congress.
7.
Truck drivers, they come to schools here in America.
We had the accident, couldn't read a sign, didn't know what was happening. It's inappropriate. I think the UK has a tremendous asset. No, they haven't. And it's ugly. It's bad for the environment. It kills to a bird when did this happen? No anything. And then they tell us how to run our country. No, I think if she got censored, that's great. If she got impeached, that's even better. I think if she got...
I just want you to listen. You can hear this, right? You hear what he's saying? If she got censored, that's great.
If she got censored, that's great.
I thought we're against censorship. I thought America is against censorship. Right? Like...
If she got impeached, that's even better. They impeached me twice for nothing. And they impeached me knowing the Republicans are on my side, so they knew it was just... But they impeached me twice. She should be impeached, and it should happen fast. What she says is out of line. Yeah, go ahead. Anybody else?
Mr. President,
Who would you like to see?
Mr. President, are you going to ask Brendan Carr to weigh in on other...
I won it easily. I won all 7 swing states, popular vote. He's a patriot. He loves our country, and he's a tough guy. So we'll have to see.
Why is that not a free speech issue?
When you think about this, 97% of the stories are opposed to me, and yet I win easily the election.
Why is he still talking about that? Like, what has that got to do with... God, bro. What does that got to do with anything? Like, who gives a shit that you won? You're in office. Great, cool. You don't need to tell everybody. They see it, right? It's like consistently telling people that I have a house, right? I am in my house that I purchased back in 2023. It's been 30 years now, but I purchased this house. Like, okay, we see, we got it. You're, okay, yes, you won. Good job. Good job. Okay, now, onwards, right? You did it. Nice job.
It's pretty amazing when you think of it. That shows they have no credibility. Go ahead.
I was just going to agree with. I mean, could you use that same logic with news? If someone
In the old days, I remember in the old days that every 4 or 5 years, a network would reapply for its license. And the license is free. You know, they get this valuable thing for free. And they'd reapply for a license. And if they did something wrong, well, I beat George Stephanopoulos, Slopadopoulos, I call him, George Slopadopoulos. They had to pay me $15 million for what he said. I beat
And tell them how much you had to pay out for your Trump college.
CBS for much more money than that, including advertising and other things. Much more money. Because they totally changed the answer that Kamala gave, what a question. I mean, they didn't change it. They took it out and put a different answer in. And they didn't want to go to court with that. That's a tough one to go to court with. So, no, I think that if you remember, years ago, I remember as a kid, they would file, it was a big deal every 4 or 5 years, and I don't know, you don't hold me exact, he's doing a great job, and I think he's a great patriot.
Do you agree with Ryan about news?
What do you think about the fact that you attend an event in England, a state visit, spectacular,
Right.
and yet the Mayor of London can't be there?
Oh, I didn't want him there. I asked that he not be there. I don't want the, I think the Mayor of London, Khan, is among the worst mayors in the world. And we have some mayors, the equivalent of the Mayor of Chicago. Not like him for a long time. I just think, you know,
He was christened, but he's quoted 2 years ago saying he was an atheist. He's a committed atheist.
I guess I disagree with him on two things. Immigration, which is Norway. And they have the same thing we're talking about. I don't even know if they have.
When you live there.
Well, we made a deal with the UK, and some of those companies say that we can get people to do other things.
Is Censor trying to talk to you about Ukraine? Did the Prime Minister talk to you about Ukraine?
And he said, that's not good. I mean, we can do sanctions, yes. And he's dangerous cities in the world. And you can walk down, you can take your husband, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whoever you want to take. You can take them out to dinner tonight in D.C. and you're going to be safe. It's on the railroad. It's a cool story. 100 were shot at. Okay. We're not letting Chicago fail. Really bad murderers and...
Okay, I don't hear the part. I'm looking for it. I'm listening.
Our country is not even... It's, by emptying jails into our country, anybody could replace him. Guy had no talent. Look,
Have you guys ever heard like a president speak like this? Be honest. I've listened from Kennedy on, well, that's not fair. I'd say Reagan onwards, maybe Nixon onwards. I just don't hear presidents speak this way to press. I don't know. I don't know. But then at the same time, the way that the press asks these questions, yeah, sometimes they deserve it. So what I'm trying to find is the part where he talks about if you say anything negative about me. I don't see that on here.
Allowed to say that politically because it could be the end of my career.
Give me permission to say it.
However, I'll say it anyway. The women look beautiful. You look beautiful. The women look really beautiful. You're right. Our superstar over here looked great. That's Caroline.
I can tell you this chick on the left where her head's in frame, she hasn't washed her hair since 97. She don't look beautiful. That shit, you better run a brush through that. That looks like you dipped your head in like wax. That's gross. You need to wash your hair, girl. That's what I would say if I was like, hey, you, decent face, not bad. Run a comb through this because this is disgusting. It doesn't. Oh, it looks like you're homeless. Okay.
Has she done a good job?
Yeah,
What did you eat, by the way?
Everybody was great. Even the men looked beautiful. Okay.
There you go.
Hard not to look beautiful
There you go. Just put it all on the table. Let's suck everybody's dick. That's all.
in that room. That was one of the coolest rooms.
You heard time with Princess Kate today?
And I knew Charles as a prince, and I signed.
Nothing. I don't see anything. I'm sorry. I don't. I am trying to find this part that they're talking about. I don't see it. Oh my God, 6 hours and 57 minutes. There's no way. There's no way they did a 6-hour conference. Hold on. This might be it. We might have to watch something on the regular thing.
From liability to liquidity to longevity helps drive your long-term goals. PGIM, our investments shape tomorrow, today.
That might be
Good
it.
time, everybody. We had a good.
U.S. President Donald Trump on Thursday celebrated Jimmy Kimmel's suspension, a day after Disney-owned ABC announced it was yanking his late-night comedy show indefinitely over comments he made regarding right-wing activist Charlie Kirk's assassination.
Kimmel he was fired. He had no talent. He's a whack job. but he had no talent.
ABC has not said.
Okay. My opinion piece on that. Look at the commercials that you did, Donald Trump, in the late 90s, early 2000s. I wouldn't say you're a whack job. You have no talent. Can you name another president that sells watches, sneakers, while they're in office? You know, usually, okay, I'm not going to talk bad about Trump. He's our president, and I'm going to respect that.
Said that it fired Kimmel, who has not commented on his removal from air. A person familiar with the matter told Reuters that behind the scenes, Kimmel and Walt Disney representatives were desperate to calm a social media furor that erupted following criticism of his remarks. However, the source said they could not find language that they agreed would not further inflame the situation. Trump went on to say TV broadcasters should lose their licenses over negative coverage of his administration.
That's what I want to say. Yeah, okay, great. I want to hear that.
They give me only bad publicity or press. I mean, they're getting a license. I would think maybe their license should be taken away.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I could hear it. I could see that maybe the licenses should be taken away. Okay. So we're into. All right. So got it. So now America is into no more freedom of speech. Just forget that. It's just throw that out the window because that is literally against the like that is. Yeah, a lot of people don't understand this, right? Like your amendments, your Constitution or your Bill of Rights, your first 10 amendments in your Constitution are essentially for you versus the government. It's not really for me to you, right? I could say whatever I want to say to you. You can't tell me that I can't carry a gun, right? You're just a regular civilian like I am. You're not the government. They are to protect you from the government. What he's saying is forget that. You don't get to speak about the government because, well, I don't like it. I don't like it. So I'm going to remove the First Amendment. So if you can't do the Second Amendment, which Biden tried and failed, right? You can't do that one. Trump's going to be attacking the First Amendment. Is there any other ones that we want to remove? This just bothers me because I can see the Second Amendment being a little bit vague because of the situation that we were in when that was written. I get it. And the situation that is happening in America, right? Like, I'm not going to ignore that. All of the shootings and all the crazy stuff happening. So, yes, I think now Second Amendment is more applicable than it ever. It's up there, right? Now, the First Amendment is literally, that is the First Amendment. I'm not going to go over the whole amendment, but you trying to censor them to say something negative about you and take away their licensing because you don't like what they're saying, that's cancel culture and that's censorship. Cancel culture is not part of the First Amendment. Censorship is. So, yeah, I don't agree with it. I think it's ridiculous. I think that if that does start to happen, you know, I have taken the road, right? I've put out some videos. Let me just give you my rundown. Throughout all my channels, I have done some very sad stuff, right? Some terrible stuff has happened to me in my life. And I've publicized those things. I don't regret it. And I've heard a lot of negative things. Some things you would never think somebody would say to somebody, and they wouldn't. They'll just type it in a chat box or just in a comment box and hit enter and then hide behind some anonymous name. But I've heard a lot of negative things. I don't think anybody could hear anything worse than what I've heard, especially when it comes to my daughter. So, but you have to take those with a grain of salt, right? Even if there was a face behind it, that's somebody's opinion. And yep, I don't agree with it, but that is, I fought for that right, your First Amendment. Trump didn't. He had flat feet or bad ankles, whatever. The point is that you can't remove that. If you don't like it, then don't read it, don't watch it, don't pay attention to it. Stick with your ego. Say negative things back. Because if you could censor the news, then they could censor you. And I don't think you want to be censored. Because like you just said, where they were beautiful, this is the Trump. He's never going to watch this. But you said that those people were beautiful. I think you should be able to say that. I do. I don't think, I even that grabbing by the coochie, that's totally fine. It is what it is. You didn't break any laws. You don't have to be held to a certain standard, be above anybody. But you trying to censor the media is exactly what you don't want them to do to you.